Yo.
How's it going? All right.
All right.
This is Bro Date.
Hello.
We've been gone from the YouTube channel for a while, but we're gonna try to hop back on there.
Let's check it out.
Try this new live feature. And the first thing we're gonna start off with is a movie that we've been waiting for quite a while.
Yeah.
That movie would be the biggest movie to date for the Marvel Universe. That movie is called
Avengers.
Infinity War.
Infinity War.
Yes.
Oh, man. So if, go ahead and just throw this out there now. Yes, spoilers coming at you.
Yeah,
full throttle. So if you haven't seen the movie, get out of here.
Yeah.
This is your warning now.
It's in the title. If you haven't seen the movie, don't watch this.
Don't do it.
Because we're going to be very candid with everything that happens in the film. There's not really a way to talk about it without doing that.
No.
And even if there was, we like it better this way anyway.
So go to the theater now, check it out, and then come on back and tell us what you thought.
Exactly. That right there. So let's get this started.
Let's go. Let's go.
All right. What were your expectations going into this movie?
Oh my gosh. What were my... Everything that was met.
Everything that was met. All right.
My expectations. I expected some fantastic fight scenes with some collaborations like they always do in the Marvel taste. I was expecting a lot of Thanos. Not only a lot of Thanos, but kicking a lot of butt. Other than that, I mean, that was just pretty much it. There wasn't like too much that I was putting out there. I didn't want to get my hopes up too high.
Yeah, I think I'm with you there.
Yeah.
I didn't watch a ton of previews or anything for this.
I stopped.
I saw the first one. I saw like little clips here and there on TV, and I just really didn't pay that much attention, which was probably a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I did have the expectation that a lot of people were gonna die.
So I'm glad you brought that up because I completely forgot about that. So I did, yes. I had the expectation that at least there would be one major player die. And for me, I thought that would be Iron Man.
I think I was with you on that.
I thought that would be Iron. My logic behind all that was, so Iron Man's pretty much the reason why he is Iron Man is his intelligence and his money. And with the recent release of Black Panther, when we got opened up to Wakanda, we find out money is not an issue at all. Technology, they're beyond the world that we actually know. So I thought, well, what need is there of Tony Stark now? So I thought he would be the sacrifice, and it'd almost be like they hit the ground running because they could replace him.
Yeah.
That was my theory.
Yeah, I thought that was a good one. I also thought maybe we'd lose Cap.
There's been a lot of talk about that.
I mean, really, you could probably justify losing any of them.
Yeah, I mean...
And it's really just sort of a coin flip on who you thought was going to die or not.
Yeah, the only other one I really heard of was possibly Thor.
Yeah.
But that was, I mean, to be honest with you, of those three, that was pretty much it. Like, no one really talked about anybody else.
So...
For me.
So let's go over one more question before we actually get
into
the nitty-gritty. Out of all the characters, who would you be most disappointed to lose going forward in this universe?
Dang, that's a tough question. Who would I...
Because I think you just mentioned mine.
So...
And that would be Thor.
So... It kind of... I guess it depends on what reasoning. Because, like... Like him and Iron Man, I wouldn't. I'm okay with that just because they've been in so many movies from this point.
Yeah.
So I would hate to lose them, but that would be my argument against that. Who I would dislike to lose, This is probably no surprise if you know me. Spider-Man.
Makes a lot of sense.
I mean, we just
we just got him.
Just got him, yeah.
We just got Marvel's version of
exactly
him,
right.
Yeah.
So that would have been.
I'd say the same with Guardians. I mean, they've had 2 movies, but I still think it's pretty fresh compared to like how everyone's been showing up in everyone else's movies,
right,
up until this point.
Yeah.
And then I think the one other thing, and I didn't even realize I liked it so much until I just watched it again, was Thor Ragnarok. It feels like it's such a new step for that character.
Yeah.
It's such a new take that I want to see more of that kind of Thor instead of like the first 2 movies. So I want Thor to stick around.
All right.
But anyway, let's get into who is actually here and who isn't.
Okay.
Let's start right at the beginning with Thor, because that's the first person that we see in this movie.
All right.
I guess we can bring up the end of Thor Ragnarok, which is where we see the Asgardians leaving Asgard on the ship.
Mm-hmm.
And then the end credit scene is this big ship that sort of appears in front of them. Now we know whose ship that was.
Trouble.
It was Thanos.
Yeah.
And that's where we start our movie.
That's where we start. So let's go ahead and let's jump into this. Not only is that where we start our movie, so there's some stuff that has happened, that has taken place because everybody's either dead or nearly dead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
On this
ship. we don't see that part.
We don't see that.
We just kind of arrive in the middle of all this carnage. It's like, it looks like it's finishing up because the one dude's sort of walking around and like stabbing people to like finish them off.
Right.
And then you got Thanos with Thor's head in his hand.
Yes.
Talking to our villain that we love to love, Loki.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Loki's had a crazy journey in the Marvel universe.
Loki's been all over the place.
He's been good. He's been bad. He's been
in between. He's been
most of the time in between.
He's been not even our Asgardian. He's just
one of the most fascinating characters, I would say. And then
with the power to manipulate. I mean, you know,
we had him and Thor team up at the end of Ragnarok to get out of there.
Yes.
But he, of course, he did his Loki thing.
He
and
deceives.
Before he got off that planet, he stole the Tesseract.
Yes, he did.
Which comes into play right away.
I believe we saw that.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
We don't see him actually take it, but he goes down to get the helmet of Surtur to bring him back to life, throw it in the eternal flame. And he sort of passes the Tesseract, and he like backs up and looks at it, and then it cuts away, and you're like, oh, well, great, here we go again.
Yep.
So turns out he took it.
Surprise. Because that's why Thanos is there.
Exactly. Yeah. He's in search of the stones. He's already got one in his gauntlet, and this will be the second one. Don't know where he got the first one.
They mentioned it. He stole it. Well, obviously. They do mention it.
Yeah.
I can't remember where they said he gets it from.
It was with Nova Corps.
The Collector.
No.
That's the third one that he gets.
So he said...
that's right. Yeah.
It was with Nova Corps. They, like, stole it from...
Yes. That's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
So he went there and wiped them out.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So anyway, there we are. He's got one at the beginning of the movie. They don't even show any of that. Then he shows up to get the one that's basically inside this Tesseract.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man.
There's only 2 other people that are alive, not on Thanos' side there, that we didn't mention yet. Hulk.
Mm-hmm. And Heimdall. Yeah. So we're missing a few characters that were on that ship, and
more than a few.
We did not see... I didn't see them dead anywhere.
I didn't see them dead either. I was looking.
So I have no idea where they're at. I don't know if they're dead on the ship. I don't know if they got away somehow. It would seem hard that they would get away somehow. But Valkyrie, Korg, and Meek, they're just not there.
You know what? What? So, the very beginning of the movie, before you actually even see anything, when the Marvel brand is still popping up and all that
Yeah,
stuff,
there's that distress signal.
is it possible?
That was them? That's what somebody said, but it didn't sound like Korg.
No, but it could have been. I mean, maybe it's a group of people, and who knows who that one person might have been.
That was that ship, is what I assumed, that they were on, not a different ship.
I'm wondering if maybe it was a difference. I don't know. That they escaped from that ship knowing what was happening and sent the distress signal. I don't know. I'm just throwing theories out there.
Guess.
I don't know.
I guess that could
Pure
be.
guess.
I did read somewhere online someone thought it was Korg, and that's why I definitely listened the second time we saw it, because I was like, does it sound like Korg? I was like, no, it definitely doesn't. There's like a little accent, but it didn't sound like...
No, it didn't.
Not at all. He had a very distinct
voice.
Yes,
he does. So. Yes, he does. And it did not sound like him. You are correct. So, who knows? Well,
yeah, we don't know. We'll find out in, next year?
Next year. Yeah, so then the Hulk.
Mm-hmm.
The Hulk flies in at the last moment and is going at it with Thanos for a while.
Not too long.
Until
yeah,
Thanos
so Loki
gets time to play with him.
Loki tries to trick him, and Hulk comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
They fight a little bit. Hulk wins for a half a second.
Yeah.
And then
Thanos Mike Tyson them.
Yeah. So, what do they call him? The Black Order?
I think so.
Something.
I can't remember. Something.
Anyway,
like I think
he
you're
tells
right.
him to no. Let him go. Let Hulk fight. Let him have his fun.
Right.
And Thanos gets knocked back a few times, but then he's like, it doesn't even matter.
No.
Once he decides, like, okay.
Yeah.
I'll fight.
Yeah.
And then it's over right away.
It ended pretty
quick. So that kind of shows you exactly how powerful he is.
Yes, it does.
Just with his one stone at that point.
Yeah.
And I think you kind of sit back and you're like, well, damn, like what are they gonna do now? Because Thor's already jacked up, and he was just turned into a god with lightning. You're like, dude's bad.
Yeah, he is. He's very bad. And Hulk realizes that.
Yeah, which we'll see later in the movie. I think that's why he doesn't want to come back.
Yeah. Go ahead.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. It's basically like a TK or a knockout there. He body slams Hulk, and he's out of it.
Yeah.
He's knocked out.
But he gets saved.
He gets saved by our buddy Hemdall, and that was sort of his last hurrah because. A pretty badass character from the Thor series, Hemdall.
Yeah.
He gets stabbed because he saves the Hulk. He shoots him back to Earth with whatever... Just like he does. Comes out of nowhere, tries to negotiate a deal. And he's using that tactic to buy time so he can try to stab Thanos in the throat. That doesn't work.
No, it doesn't.
You see that. That's after he hands over the Tesseract. Thanos has 2 stones. And then tries to stab him in the throat. He freezes him, grabs him by the neck, lifts him up. Loki tells him, "You'll never be a god." And I think that pissed him off just enough for him to close all the way and actually... we kill Loki.
Break
finally.
his neck or
for
something.
good, it looks like.
So I wonder if that was a trick in some way, shape, or form by Loki. Although I think like when he does pull like the multiple versions of him, like when you actually try to touch one of the false identities of him, it kind of, you find out because it's not real or whatever. I think I can't remember.
So that's the thing with Thor is he appears in like the jail cell or wherever they're holding him for the gladiator fights, and Thor's just throwing shit at him,
and it goes
because it goes through him. And then later in the movie, he actually sees the real one. He throws something at him, it hits him in the head, and he's like, I just need to make sure.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I mean, I don't.
Guess he's dead.
I don't see a way out of it for Loki, but with him, I guess you never know.
No, you don't. But
I think that's the point of this movie too. Thor even reiterates that afterwards. Like, I think he's actually really gone this time.
Yeah.
So that's how we start off our movie.
That's the start. Here we go.
That's literally everything that happens before the title rolls.
Yes.
Which is pretty crazy. We get 2 deaths in the first 5 minutes.
Like that. And that snap has a
and like two pretty well-known characters too.
Yeah, I would say so. Gone.
Yeah.
So, Heimdall's last action is to save Hulk. Hulk, he shoots him down to Earth, a specific location on Earth, where there's two magicians.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so after the titles roll, we see this, I guess it's the Bifrost.
Yeah, right.
Shooting him, like, past the moon, down to Earth. Then we're in, gosh, what do they call it? The Sanctum Sanatorium?
I don't even know.
Something like that. Where Doctor Strange is.
Yeah.
And Hulk comes crashing down through the roof.
Yeah.
Into the staircase.
He's got news.
And he says, Thanos is coming.
As he's turning from Hulk to Bruce Banner, and he looks terrified.
Yeah. And that's the crazy thing about this movie is there's not really any breaks.
No, there isn't. No.
It's 2.5 hours long. And literally, there's no time anywhere for them to, like, sit down and be like, let's make a plan. Doesn't happen. Hulk crashes through. Then we go to Tony in the park with Pepper.
Yep.
And they're like, hey, let's have a baby and all this fun stuff. And then Doctor Strange opens up a portal and is like, hey, the universe is dying real soon here. I need you. And he's like, who are you?
Yeah, he's like, what?
He's like, I don't know who you are, bro. And then Banner pops through too, and he's like, Tony, come on. Hugs him, and he's like, what are you doing hugging me? So
he's like, he tells him Thor's dead.
Yeah, so we get that, and well, I guess that's one thing we skipped over.
We think Thor's dead.
Thor, yeah.
Yes, we did skip over that. So Thanos blows up the ship and says, pretty much none of you are going to live, and I'm going to go get the next stone. So yes, we think Thor is dead, and then that's what Bruce Banner tells Tony Stark as well.
So after that, they go back to the Sanctum Sanatorium. I believe that's what it's called. And they're having this conversation like, hey, there's this bad dude coming. And Banner's like, no, like, really, he's a bad dude. Like, we need to call everybody. You need to get Vision. And then he's like, well, we can't get Vision because me and Steve were, like, fighting for a while you were gone. And he's like, what are you talking about?
Okay, a long story, but...
So, like, he's completely clued out on all that. And while they're having this discussion, all of a sudden, like, something starts happening. And he's noticing it when he's about to, like, make this phone call to Captain America. And then you start hearing people scream outside. All this weird stuff's happening. So they take a little stroll. And there's no break in this movie.
No break. No breaks.
They open the door, and there's this giant spaceship outside landing. And then we realize, oh, this is the Black Order coming to get the stones.
Yep.
And the particular stone they're after this time is the one that Doctor Strange is wearing around his neck.
Which is the time.
Which is the time stone. So then we have a little fight.
Oh, yeah. We got a little fight, and Tony, or Iron Man, is like, all right, Hawk, you want to go ahead and get first dibs on this?
Yeah, he's like, not really, but I don't ever get what I want.
Yeah.
So okay, and they...
And then we wait.
We wait.
And we wait. And we wait. he's having some trouble. Can't get the Hulk coming. It's just Bruce Banner just standing there.
Yep.
And Iron Man's like, all right, you know what? Let me go ahead and handle this. Look, Doctor, go hide. I'm going to take care of, do what I need to do here. So, the first guy comes up, and we find out Iron Man has some new weapons. He's upgraded.
Nanotechnology now.
Yeah. And he blows this dude away. But we find out this other guy's got some pretty... another person with the Black Order.
We get two of them. One dude's like Hulk style, and the other dude is, man, he looks like some weird alien, but he's like Doctor
compared
Strange.
to Doctor Strange.
Yeah, he's got, I guess you'd call him magical powers.
Yeah.
If anything, like telepathy, kind of
right,
move stuff with his mind, all that kind of junk.
Right.
And he's actually kind of a badass. Like,
he is.
You see how he deflects everything, and you
right.
kind of wonder, like, oh, this might be a little tough for them.
Yeah.
Like, how are they gonna manage this? Because he really, anything that Iron Man throws at him, like, it just doesn't faze him. No.
Doctor
finally,
Strange
they get
is really only one who really
they get split apart kind of into two separate fights. And then Doctor Strange is going at this dude, and he finally, like, they get something to hit him finally, because he throws these spikes at him, and they make a portal and shoot it back, and they finally, like, cut him a little bit, and that's about it, though. The fight between those two, it's just like a battle of wits, almost.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, we've got, like you said, there was two fights going on at the same time. We've got Iron Man going at it with this Thor-looking beast for the Black Order.
Yeah.
And then we find out he's got somebody come out to help him.
Yeah, so in the meantime, when all this was going down, there was a little school bus riding by. They saw the ship, and Spider-Man was on it. So, Spidey comes out of nowhere and joins the fight.
Yeah.
Like he always seems to do.
Yeah, that's what he does. Neighborhood Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. Meantime, Hulk still can't do anything. He's having some troubles.
Yeah, he's trying to, and then we get one shot where he, like, comes out enough just to say no.
Yeah.
And everybody kind of laughs, but then you're like, well, what the heck?
What's going on?
And I think that's where we can throw it back to the first fight, is like he finally got his ass kicked for once.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, no, I'm not doing it.
Something we just don't know.
That's my assumption. I don't know what else it would be.
I have no idea.
Other than he's just scared.
Possibly.
And he's had nothing to be afraid of before. But I think he finally saw.
He's met his match.
Yeah.
Maybe.
That's my theory, at least, on all that.
And
that continues throughout the movie.
So then the magical guy with the Black Order, he captures Doctor Strange.
He does.
And he starts taking him back up to the ship, and Doctor Strange's cape starts helping him out and escapes. And Iron Man notices this. He's like, "Hey, Spider-Man, go get him." And he does. He's successful.
It's like, that's a wizard. Go, kid.
But the spaceship starts grabbing Doctor Strange and starts, lifting him towards the ship.
Not only Doctor Strange, but Spider-Man also.
Yeah, once the magician from the Black Order removes the light post from the ground, and he's like, all right, well, if I can't take him alone, I'm going to take both of you. And then we have Spider-Man going out in space. And speaking of space, at that time, I believe, is when we cut to a certain team who hears this distress signal.
Yeah, it is.
And
so
it's hoping for some riches.
So yeah, it's not just Spider-Man and Doctor Strange. Iron Man chases after. While he's doing that, he calls back to whoever's on his little intercom now to shoot out this certain unit. That unit's kind of important because it shoots up and attaches to Spider-Man, which now turns into Iron Spider. And he tells him to get out of there. This Parachute flies out, but it turns out Spidey's still stowing away because he managed to grab on still. So we got Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, and Iron Man all going to space.
All out of space.
Mm-hmm. But yes, as soon as that's done, it cuts over to the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yes, it does.
Being the Guardians of the Galaxy.
In perfect style, with some music playing, You
get the music, you get that old school soundtrack.
Yeah, you do.
You get the same kind of humor.
I mean,
the Guardians being the Guardians.
Would you expect anything less?
There's nothing better than that.
No, there isn't. Love the Guardians.
Mm-hmm.
So they're cruising around. They finally get to the point where there was this distress signal, and they just see it's just dismantled. There's stuff all over the place, just floating around and whatnot. And then they get a mosquito on the windshield.
An electric mosquito named Thor.
Yeah.
It was pretty funny. I loved how Rocket's like, use the wipers, get it off.
Right.
And then he opens his eye, and they're like, oh shit, this dude's still alive.
Yeah.
So they pull him into the ship. They're examining him. Drax is very taken by him. He, I think, how's it go? Star-Lord calls him a dude, and Drax is like, it's not a dude, you're a dude. That's a man. An attractive, muscular man. And that just kind of starts this whole bit of comedy for probably the next 5 minutes about how attractive Chris Hemsworth is.
Yeah.
Which I thought was pretty good.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah. Because then you have Gamora, like, touching his arm.
Yeah.
Like, it's like he's made out of some sort of metal. And Star-Lord's like, all right, stop touching his arm.
Right.
And then they tell Mantis to wake him up. So she wakes him up. He jumps up. He turns around. He's like, who the hell are you guys? And then you get some good exchange between him and Star-Lord.
Yes, you do.
You get some good exchange between him and Rocket.
Yes, you do. AKA
Rabbit.
Yeah.
Which is great.
It is awesome.
It's just like in the other movies where they call him like a trash panda.
Yeah.
I just love it. Just keep calling him all kinds of stuff. It's great. I don't care what it is. You can...
It's pretty comical.
Good stuff.
It is
so anyway,
Thor tells him what the heck's going on.
Yeah.
Brings up Thanos.
Which, then he finds out that Gamora is the daughter of.
Yeah, Thanos.
You think he's gonna have a problem with that, but he goes over and like tells him how hard it's been with his family, so he understands. Man. And then Quill steps in and he's like, well, my family in life hasn't been great either. My dad killed my mom, I killed my dad, blah, 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 blah. And then you realize, like, there's a lot of weird stuff that happens in these Marvel movies.
Yeah.
As far as families go. But anyway, then Thor decides he knows what to do.
Yeah.
He's going to go and...
get a new hammer. Get a new weapon.
Get a new weapon that is able to kill Thanos. A new axe, he calls it. I think it's actually got a name, Stormbringer or Storm.
Yeah, but I don't think they find all that out until they get there.
Yeah, they don't. But anyway, he knows of it, obviously. So that's his main goal. He wants to get to this place that is known for making legendary weapons. Mm-hmm. I believe it's where Mjolnir, his original hammer, was made.
Correct.
And Rocket has heard of the place too. He's like, wait, I've heard about that place. They make like the coolest, most deadly stuff ever. I'd very much like to go there.
Of course he would.
Yeah. And then
of course he would.
And then you've got sort of this split on the ship where some people are like, no, we need to go. Where are they trying to go? To nowhere.
Correct.
Because the Collector has the next stone.
Correct.
Like, no, we need to go there and get the stone from the Collector. And then Thor's like, no, I need to get a weapon so I can kill the dude. So Rocket, being smart, actually, is like, we got a bunch of people. Let's just split up. Which he calls everybody morons. A collection of morons.
Yeah.
Which is pretty true. You see later in the in the movie too once they meet up with Stark. But anyway,
They split up.
Thor, Rocket, and Groot go to get the hammer. The rest of the crew, they go to nowhere. And man, there's no time to breathe.
No,
anywhere.
there isn't.
It literally is just one thing after another. As soon as anybody's at a new place, either one of Thanos' bad dudes show up or he shows up like 35 seconds later.
Yeah.
And that's like the entire movie. It's just situation after situation. So that all happens. And I think simultaneously, I think this is where we jump to next, is with Scarlet Witch and Vision.
In Scotland, I believe.
Yeah, they're just like living a happy little life, hiding out, and Vision's got the stone in his forehead. So Thanos sent a couple of his goons there to try to get that. So we get, and this is really what I mean, we get Vision and Wanda for maybe a minute and a half, being normal.
Yeah.
And I think they're like just going out to like, I don't know what they're gonna do, date or something. I'm not sure what the activity was per se, but in the middle of it, they get attacked.
Well,
like
just before that, they I don't know if it's a restaurant or a store, but they see on the TV.
Oh yeah, that something went down.
That Tony Stark's dead. Iron Man is dead. So like, oh crap! But as soon, like you just mentioned, before they even have a chance to really take that in, they get attacked. By two of the Black Order. And they're going at it. They eventually split up, and they're both fighting one-on-one battles. Vision's getting his butt beat.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna mention. Is like he is supposed to be one of the most powerful ones.
Yes.
He gets his ass whooped in this movie, like multiple times.
The whole time.
It's like he can't do anything at all. And I don't know if it has to do with the fact that he got stabbed with whatever at the beginning, and he's like, I can't phase, I think he said. But like Wanda has to help him heal.
Yeah.
Thought he'd be good after that. I don't know, but it doesn't look like he can do much of anything. It doesn't even look like he can fly. I don't think.
You might be right.
Because I don't think I see him. I don't think we see him fly.
I don't think so either.
In the movie, and that's like the thing that he did and shot the shit out of his forehead.
Yeah.
But anyway, that doesn't happen.
No, it doesn't.
He literally just gets his ass beat.
Yeah, and Scarlet Witch is doing her thing.
She's just trying to like get back to him and help him the entire time.
Yeah. And eventually she does.
Yeah, she's holding her. She's really one of the more powerful characters too, and I think you really get a sense of that.
Yes, you do.
Here,
you really do. Throughout this whole movie.
Yeah.
But you're right, especially here.
Yeah, I think the other thing this movie does is it takes some characters who maybe I didn't love or like weren't my favorite and elevated them. Mm-hmm. Doctor Strange being one of them.
Really?
Didn't love Doctor Strange. I mean, the movie was fine.
Yeah.
But it was like a throwaway for me. But in this movie, love it.
Oh man,
and I liked Scarlet Witch before.
Yeah.
But she's like straight badass in this movie. So let's see. We have our fight. I mean, we don't need to get too much into what happens in every single fight because there's so many of them.
So many.
But basically, it gets to a point where she's just chasing after Vision getting his ass beat. I mean, that's really what happens. She's trying to chase him down and protect him while trying to fight off these two people. And they finally get to a point where she's back to Vision, and the two bad dudes are closing in, and we have some people show up.
We do.
So at the end of the original fight with Doctor Strange and everybody, Banner picks up a phone, makes a phone call to Captain America.
Yes.
So
yes,
they arrive at the perfect time.
Perfect time. Couldn't come any.
I thought it was just him at first.
Yeah, me too.
But turns out he's got a little crew with him.
He does have a crew.
And they handle it.
They do.
It's like not even close.
He's got Black Widow and goodness, I'm forgetting his name. Falcon. with him to help him out. So they start kicking butt. They arrive, and the times have changed, and one of them gets pretty damaged. One of them gets stabbed, right?
One of them?
One of the Black Order folks gets stabbed to the point where, like, he's in really bad shape.
Well, no, he dies. We don't see him die then, but he's dead.
Well, we'll come back to that.
I mean, he's dead.
We'll come back to that.
Yeah.
We'll come back to that. Continue.
So, anyway, one of the things I liked most was Black Widow, like, tears them up in this fight.
She does.
And
there's, like, that's what she does.
Really cool choreography with her.
That's what she does.
One,
they always give her really good choreography. Like, really good. It's awesome. You know? Hats off to Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah.
Hats off to her.
So anyway, they handle their business, and they, like, beam me up Scotty. Bad dudes are out of there.
Yep. Gone.
So then we have at least some of our group back together again. And they decide... they actually come up with a little bit of a plan.
Well, they gotta go home. Well, by home they mean, I guess, New York, Avengers department, buildings or whatever.
Yeah, like that's a quick stop
training
on their main location.
But yes,
so they pick up Rhodey.
They come up with a plan,
and then they're like,
"Finally,
we're gonna go to Wakanda." Yeah.
Because we're gonna get this stone out of Vision.
Yeah, that's
and we're gonna destroy it. That way, he can't get all these stones.
Plan is,
and we'll resolve all this.
Destroy one thing, then he won't be able to get everything.
Make it impossible. Great plan.
Good plan.
Great plan.
Yeah. So that's what's going on. They're on their way.
Then we skip back to somewhere. I don't know where. I can't remember exactly where it goes from there.
To nowhere.
We do go to nowhere.
We go somewhere.
Oh, we go to nowhere.
There's quite a bit of bouncing around. We go to Titan sometimes. We go to wherever the hell they went for the Soul Stone sometimes. Yeah. But anyway, they're on their way to Wakanda. I think that's pretty much shelved until a little bit after all this stuff. And then we go to Nowhere, which, that really is the next thing. So, they're going to Nowhere to get the stone from the Collector so Thanos can't get it. They show up there, and they see Thanos is there already.
He's already there.
He's got his foot on the Collector's chest, trying to figure out where the stone is. And Quill is trying to...
direct his troops.
It's not working.
They're not listening.
Drax sees Thanos, and he goes all nuts again. He wants to kill him right away.
This is my time. This is my chance. Get my revenge.
And
it's trouble.
Man.
It's trouble.
Yeah.
Thanos pretty much deceives them the whole time. He was expecting them all this time. And
so that's the thing. With Drax, though, he's charging in. Quill's trying to stop him. Thanos doesn't know they're there yet. Until Mantis puts her hands on his forehead. He passes out, makes a loud thud. And then Thanos knows someone is there. Then we get Gamora charging in, fights him a little bit.
Yeah.
Stabs him in the throat, stabs him in the chest. And Thanos dies.
Down for the count.
Yeah. And he's like, really, you, daughter? And then we get the Collector cheering in this little tube that he got thrown in.
Yeah.
And you're like, something's definitely off here.
Obviously.
So, from there,
it's all deceived. Every bit of it. It was all fake. Thanos knew they were coming, expected them to come. He planned on it because he needed Gamora. And we'll find out why he needed Gamora. Just a moment.
So, the reason he was able to deceive them is because he already got his hand on a stone, which in the movie it's a third one, and it is the Reality Stone.
Yep.
So everything that they were seeing was just a veiled version of what had already happened. It peels back, which was a really cool effect.
Yeah, it was.
And then we get to see what nowhere actually looks like right now, and it's just been completely trashed.
Which is funny because when they were flying in the first place, they saw it was trashed, and they mentioned that.
Notice that.
They actually do mention it, but it works for Thanos.
Yeah.
And well, that's probably that pretty much. Oh well.
I mean,
so just to backtrack slightly, Gamora's like, look, I know something. I know something that Thanos needs. And I don't want to tell you, meaning Star-Lord.
Yeah.
Because the less you know, the better. But I need you to know that if Thanos catches me, you need to kill me. Well.
Make some promise.
Make some promise.
On his mother's life.
On his mother's life.
And,
so Thanos has him. Thanos has Gamora.
Yeah, I mean, there's like they try to fight a little bit.
Yeah, it didn't work.
Drax comes in, he turns them into like Lego blocks.
Yeah.
Same thing with Mantis.
Just nothing.
And then I don't know what's Quill's there, but
Quill's there.
He pulls a gun out.
He gives Quill the opportunity to do what Gamora told him to do.
And he's got Gamora in his grip.
Yeah.
So she's like, listen, you have to. He's still got the gun pointed at Thanos. He's, saying quippy one-liners. And then, and she's like, listen, we talked about this. Then he changes and he points the gun at her and he's like, oh, okay. Thanos is like, really? You're going to do it? So he's like, you know what? Fine. And he takes her closer, like right in front of the gun.
Go ahead, do it.
They have an actual, like, heartfelt exchange. They tell each other they love each other. And then Quill goes to pull the trigger.
Bubbles
come out.
Bubbles.
Thanos just completely incapacitates the gun that he has.
He's like, I'm impressed, but bye-bye.
Yeah, so then they jet out of there. Once he's gone, Drax and Mantis sort of like clump back together.
Yeah.
And
I think from there we go back to Iron Man and Doctor Strange and Spider-Man, who are all in outer space.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And we find out
that it's another fight.
The Black Order magician, whatever.
Yeah, bad dude.
Catches Doctor Strange is now pretty much torturing him. Yeah. And like, look, you're going to give me this stone. I've never disappointed Thanos before, and this isn't going to be the first time. So you're going to give me the stone.
He's got all these like space needles that are about to like go into his skin. It's crazy.
It is crazy.
Really cool visual too.
So Iron Man finds out that he's not the only one there. He's got the help of Doctor Strange cape.
Yeah.
And Spider-Man. And they're trying to come up with a plan. And thank goodness for...
Which is weird. Before we get to that, yes. But it's weird that he realizes that the cape is like sentient.
Yeah.
And he's like having a conversation with it. Like just like it's normal.
That's true, yeah.
I was like, that didn't get explained. He just like accepted it and went along with it. But yeah, so that happens. Spider-Man pops down, and he's like, "Dude, why are you here?" And he's like, "Well, it's your fault, really, because the suit's like super cool in it." And he's like, "Wait, what?" He was about to like beat him.
Yeah.
But anyway, they get past that, and he's like, "All right, fine. Well, you're here. You're gonna help. Do you have a plan for this dude? We need to help the wizard."
Pop culture.
And there you go. You can share that.
Well, he references a movie. I don't know if you ever heard this old movie, but it's called Aliens. And he comes up with this plan.
It's so funny.
It is pretty
And
awesome.
It works.
It does
work.
so
good,
It
too.
works like a charm.
I didn't think it was going to work that easy, though.
It works like a charm. Yeah, it works.
But it did.
It was genius.
Yeah.
I mean.
See, I think that's the thing. That's the one thing, like, I expected all of them to, like, not die easy. Like, I thought he would have came back or something.
I would say none of them really died easy.
No, but, like, normal things killed them.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what I was surprised at.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
Because you think they probably like have like.
No, I hear you.
I don't know. So anyway, we'll get into that a little bit more after, but yeah. So for this one, Iron Man pops down sort of as a distraction more than anything, and he's there with the stand down, and this rocket pops up behind him and just shoots over to the side and puts a hole in the spaceship and sucks the bad dude out, which is great. And then you have Spider-Man that pops down and tries to take Doctor Strange. They're about to get pulled out too. You get the crazy legs that pop up out of the suit, and Spider-Man yanks him back in. Iron Man closes up the hole, and that's it. Then they're on the spaceship by themselves.
Trying to figure out their plan.
Then we get the bad dude floating and freezing, and I was like, oh, he's really dead.
Yeah, he's done. That's a wrap.
Yeah, so, yeah, genius plan. Worked great, but then they're stuck on this spaceship, and then they have a conversation about what to do.
Right.
They go back to Earth, or Tony Stark's like, no, we need to go take the fight to Thanos, and I think in the audience you're like, that's a stupid decision.
Yeah, as Doctor Strange is thinking as well. It's like, you're an idiot. In fact, you're so much an idiot. All right, fine, we're going to go ahead and go with this plan, but I'm going to tell you right now, if I get to the decision where it's between you or the kid's life and this stone, I'm going to let you die.
Yeah. He tells him point blank.
It's like, all right, I'm willing to take that risk, Iron Man says.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man.
I know, it's exhausting, right?
Whew.
It's one situation after another.
I know, I feel a little beat up just talking about it.
I know.
So, then from there, I think we may go back to Thor.
Yeah, I think you're right. So at that point, Thor and Rocket and Groot.
Yeah.
Or Tree, as Thor likes to call him. They show up to I don't know what it's called, but whatever little, it's not even really a planet. It's this like workshop that's built around a star.
Mm-hmm.
That some dwarf who makes all this weaponry.
Well, there were a number of dwarves that were there.
Yeah.
I forget how many. He does say, but...
Does he?
Yeah.
So anyway, there's one left.
One.
Main dwarf, I guess. That dwarf is Tyrion from Game of Thrones.
He grew a little, though.
He grew a lot. So, it's not a little dwarf, it's a giant dwarf. He's like 15, 20 feet tall.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, so they arrive on this thing that's basically like shut down.
Yeah.
Not what he expected when they were going there.
Right.
Because it's built around a star.
And the star's dead.
Star's shut down, yeah. And so is the workshop. Everything's come to a halt, and there's just the one dude just living there. And we find out it's because Thanos went there, killed everybody.
Go figure.
Yeah. And then his hands, I'm assuming that was a byproduct of Thanos as well.
Yes, it was.
He's got his hands that are like...
they've been...
I don't even know how to say it. It's...
Well, I feel like they've been like turned into or covered with like metal.
Yeah, metal. And then like...
So he can't do anything.
Hardened, so...
There you go.
He's got... It's like Jaime Lannister's hands.
Oh.
But two of them.
Great reference.
So...
Nice.
He can't move them, so he tells Thor, like, I can't do anything
useless
for you. And Thor's like, no. Together, we're gonna beat Thanos.
It's all in your mind. The weapons are in your mind, and we can help you with everything else. So, well, to try to, I guess, fast track a little bit.
Yeah.
He tells Thor, all right, well, this is what needs to happen, A, B, and C, before I can even get to D, which is making your weapon. So Thor's like, all right, well, I'll do that if all I have to do is battle a star for a few minutes so you can melt some metal to create my new weapon. Let's do it. And he's like, well, you may die from it. And Thor's like, well, only if I die. Like, well, yeah, that's exactly what I was saying.
Yeah.
So anyway, of course, they do what they need to do.
Yeah.
Thor nearly does die.
It's one of my favorite lines.
They get...
He's like, but it'll kill you. And he's like, only if I die. And he's like, that's what kills you mean. Kills you mean.
So they make the weapon, which happens to be an axe. However, when it's all completed and stuff, and Thor is, like I said, near death, they need the handle. They can't find the handle. Well,
I loved this touch too, by the way.
Lucky, I did it as well. Lucky for them, they have Groot with him, who makes one of his arms the handle, and then chops it off.
Yeah.
And then Thor is able to grab this new weapon and come back to life. And so we did skip this one part somewhere in the middle of all these locations that we're jumping back and forth to. In the meantime, in Wakanda, Captain America and the crew that he's with finally arrives there. And they're telling Black Panther and his crew about what they want to do to help prevent Thanos from doing what he's hoping to do. So they start getting that process started, and it's kind of funny because I forget T'Challa's sister's name.
Shuri.
So she's like, well, why didn't you guys just think of putting the crystal in his head like this? It's so easy.
And then, Banner's like, oh, because we didn't think of it.
So she's like, all right, well, I can do this. I'm going to need to do this, but you guys are going to need to give me as much time as possible. Like, literally, as soon as she says that, they're like, oh, well, we've got some incoming visitors that will need to go and make some stuff happen.
Yeah, and then Vision's like, all right, let's go fight. And then Black Widow's like, get your ass on the table.
All right, sit down. So they go. They go out to...
It's insane, literally, how many things happen in this movie and how they intertwine all of it.
Yeah, it's madness. It's crazy.
I think we're pretty close to being dead on how everything happens.
Pretty close. Yeah, pretty close.
Yeah.
I feel like that was the only part that we really kind of skipped, but that's because there's there's nothing that happened in there. Well, no, because
it happens, and then
as soon as Thor gets his hammer, they go back to Wakanda for like the third time, and that's when. Anyway.
So anyway.
Sorry to get you confused.
We're good.
But we're all over. I know. But. So back to Wakanda. So they get their army. They got Wakanda tribes and all that stuff. They've got tribes. Hulk inside the front line. And it's funny because Captain America and who was with him? Captain America.
Bucky.
Was it Bucky?
For what? I'm not sure.
When they go to confront the two Black Order. Scarlet Witch.
No, she's up with Vision.
Was she?
Yeah.
So who confront Captain America and
Black
somebody?
Widow and
or not Panther. Scarlet Witch. That's what I meant to say. Black Widow. That's what I meant to say. Sorry.
Black Widow and Black Panther.
So they go.
Oh dang.
And confront the two Black Order characters that are there. I'm like, oh, where's your buddy at? And like, oh, he's dead, but we're gonna trade his life for your life. And they're like, all right, come on, bring it. So we find out that they brought some friends with them, Black Order, that is.
Whole lot of friends.
Whole lot of friends. I don't even know what these are.
No, they're just some like crazy
creatures, like 5-6-legged creatures that just all they know is fight, just fight.
They're almost like dogs, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good reference. So they just start charging at the barrier.
Yeah, they release like an insane amount of these things.
Yeah, and they just start committing suicide trying to get inside. And then eventually they find out, well, that's not working as fast as we want it to work. So then they start surrounding the place.
Yeah,
and
which they don't want because if they're able to sneak in behind it all, they'll be able to get to Vision, and that's
too much ground
what they're
for
trying
them
to prevent because they need to get that thing out of his forehead and destroy it. And yeah, like you said, there's too much ground to cover. There's only so many of them. They need to keep them contained to one spot, just in case. So Black Panther's like, all right, open the gate, let them in.
That's the only way we can do it.
And then it goes down. Like,
Man,
it's just straight up fight for like,
and from
then on out.
It's they're going at it, and there's no like easy fights for them. I mean, they're all fighting. I don't know. I mean, the odds are probably 5-10 to 1.
Yeah, another one.
Something crazy.
Another funny scene, which I'd love to see. Black Panther runs. He's speeding out. Captain America speeds up right next to him. And they're like in pace with each other.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome.
I was like, oh dang.
But they're going at it, you know, trying to fight off these whatever creatures they are, and so at some point, Scarlet Witch comes out away from Vision.
So as the battle's going on, there's basically these dog creatures, and then at some point, it looks like the wheel bike from Revenge of the Sith that Grievous was in, but like gigantic.
Yes.
And there's like 8 of them.
Yes. Yeah.
And everyone's like, oh
crap.
Damn, we gotta go.
We're in trouble.
And Scarlet Witch sees this.
Yeah.
She's like, oh shit, so I gotta get down there. So she basically like pops down. As soon as she gets there, she just destroys these things. She uses her magic or whatever it is, pulls them up, throws them at the creatures, and like that threat is gone right away. And then we get a Okoye.
Where's she been this whole time? Why's she been up there?
Yeah, it's like, why is she up there the whole time?
So you notice, the Black Order, they realized, oh, the Scarlet Witch is out there. So now we know that Vision is free. He's open. So the 2 Black Order people that are there go in and they start fighting Scarlet Witch one-on-one, and the big guy is going after Vision. But who actually gets to Vision? Do you remember which guy actually gets to Vision? Which Black Order person actually gets to Vision? The one that we thought was dead.
You sure it's the same guy?
Positive. Positive. Yeah, he gets the Vision. They trick them by saying he's dead. And he snuck around to the back. He must have. We never see it. He snuck around to the back, got
I didn't even
through.
realize that.
Yeah, he was alive this whole time. And him and Vision Vision escapes from the table, and eventually those 2 fall out of that building, and they're by themselves. So the female Black Order leader starts taking on Scarlet Witch by herself, and was like, all right, we're about to end this. And then she gets attacked by Black Widow and I forget the other
Okoye. Yeah. So, this was hilarious the first time we went. When she sees Scarlet Witch, the bad chick, and she's like, all right, you're gonna die alone. And Black Widow comes up. She's like, no, she's not. And then we hear from the back of the theater, this dude goes, she got her friends, bitch!
That was pretty funny.
It was pretty funny.
Yeah.
And then Okoye pops up, and that's like a decent little fight. And then right as she's about to like do some damage on Black Widow, Scarlet Witch uses her little magic deal, throws her up on one of those giant machines, and blood goes everywhere.
She's done.
Mm-hmm.
So at that point, they do have all of them but one, I think, killed. We skipped over slightly how the Hulk goes one-on-one with this Hulk-type Black Order dude, and eventually uses the arm that got disconnected from him to kill the other one. And then the last one is the one that Vision was fighting with, that was trying to get the stone out of his head, the Mind Stone. Second to last stone that that Thanos
Yeah.
is
Which
after.
Cap shows up, helps out.
Yeah.
Then Cap's in trouble, and Vision comes up from behind and stabs him. So that's
Now-
how he meets his demise.
At that point, all the Black Order is gone. They're done. I mean, as much as they've been kicking butt throughout this whole movie, now it's just Thanos and everyone else.
Yeah.
And I think we can skip back to Thanos' hometown.
Titan.
So that's where we have Iron Man, Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, and they meet Guardians of the Galaxy.
They do.
Well, half.
Yep.
And that was actually pretty fun. That was pretty interesting
There's some funny stuff that happens.
because they attack each other because they have no idea
Yeah.
who each other are. But one of your favorite lines as well is, "Where's Gamora?
I think it's one
Who's
of
Gamora?"
I think it's one of everybody's. And then, why is Gamora? Drax is... His comedic relief is just brilliant.
It's perfect.
It's so
The
brilliant.
timing, the lines is just awesome.
Yeah, so Star-Lord goes, "Where's Gamora?" And then, I think it's Stark. He's like, "Hang on, what's Gamora?"
Doctor Strange.
I thought it was Stark.
Oh, no, you're right. Stark. It was Stark.
Yeah, and then he's got Drax down here, and Drax goes, "I'll do you one better." Why is Gamora? And it's just, I need that shirt, like, now. I need a Wise Gamora shirt.
Yeah. But eventually they find out they're getting ready to kind of kill each other or shoot each other or whatever. Well, they've already been fighting for some bit, but they figure out that, well, both of them are after Thanos. They're on the same
Yeah.
side. And
Man,
so Guardians of,
there's so many good lines from that.
Yes, there
that
are.
part though.
Guardians of Galaxy finds out that, oh, these are the Avengers, which Thor told us about. And
We gotta stop for a minute. Like, the way that they find out that they're the Avengers,
It's awesome.
It's
It's
great. Like,
fantastic.
the whole thing is just so good.
It
This is one of
is.
the better parts of the movie. Is so Star-Lord like takes his helmet off, and Stark's like, "Wait, you're from Earth?" And he's like, "No, I'm from Missouri." And he's like, "That's on Earth, dipshit." Like, oh, there's just so many good lines in this tiny little section. And then it also clues you into how, like, Stark thinks about them, because he thinks they're all idiots.
yeah.
Because then we get a section, like, a couple minutes later, where he just blankly stares at them for, like, a really long period of time.
It's priceless, too.
Yeah, it's so good.
Priceless.
Because I think Mantis says she gets the one saying mixed up.
Yeah.
Kicking ass and taking names, she reverses it.
Yeah.
But, oh man, it's so good. So anyway, yeah, back to what's going on, I guess.
So yeah, they're at Thanos' hometown, and they're trying to figure out their plan, which they're really not figuring out much, because Iron Man is trying to think of something, and Star-Lord thinks, he's like, you know what, you don't even need to think, let me do the plan, because I'm the genius here. And in the meantime, we have the true genius, who is running through 14,605 different versions.
That's exactly the number, yeah.
All right, look at that. See, not too bad. Different versions of
The
how this
future.
all plays out.
Yeah.
And he's just like moving his head all over the place.
It's kind of nuts.
It is
looks like
nuts.
he's possessed. So.
So he's actually, if you recall from his movie, his original movie, he's using a technique that I do not remember her name at all. But I guess one of the master.
Tilda Swinton?
Yeah, but what's her name? Do they call her the One?
In the movie, I don't know.
I can't remember.
Like I
But
said,
anyway,
not my favorite movie.
she originally uses this technique to figure out some things, and he's using the same technique to figure out what are the possibilities. So he tells them, and of all these different versions that he's
And I think this is
reviewed.
probably one of the most important parts of the movie going forward from this point.
Correct. Star-Lord asked him, well, how many versions did you find that we win? One.
Mhm.
One.
Those are not good odds.
No,
At all.
not good odds.
Yeah. So anyway, we have all that going down. in the meantime, they're coming up with their plan after that. But the thing we didn't cover is that Thanos and Gamora are off, and Thanos is trying to get the Soul Stone.
Yeah.
And Gamora is the only one who knows where it is. He was torturing Nebula to try to find out. That's a weak spot for Gamora, so she actually takes him to the place to get the Soul Stone. And then we get a cameo there.
We do.
By Red Skull, who's sort of like a wraith now.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. I'm not really sure what the deal is with all that, but
me neither.
Not sure that's the important part of this section.
No.
The important part is when they go to get the Soul Stone, there's a catch.
Which at this point, he has 3 stones that he... I believe 3.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
He has 3 stones.
Yeah. All right. Anyway.
I think so. Maybe 4.
Yeah, no, it's 3. I think this is the 4th.
Oh, okay.
Then there's 5th and 6th.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Third stone. Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Sorry.
But yeah, there's a catch to the Soul Stone. And Gamora is ecstatic about it because she's like, finally, like the universe is not going to let you have something that you want, because the catch is you have to sacrifice something that you love in order to take control of the Soul Stone. And she thinks that he loves nothing. Turns out that's not actually true, and she is the one soft spot for him, like in the entire universe.
Which was actually pretty interesting, because I think throughout the movie they do a great job of all the stuff that's going on. They still provide these opportunities for you to learn about Thanos and learn about his soft spot.
Yeah, not only that, about his like rationale too, which you kind of like can. I mean, not that genocide's like great, but you're like, well, I mean, I get why he's doing what he's doing. It's explained.
Yeah.
Like he justifies it in his brain that he's like doing a greater service for these planets. Because I think he said on Gamora's planet, he killed half the population, but it turned into this like amazing place afterwards. She just like was a bystander of it, but he took her in and like actually was it like a real daughter to him, which is something that you find out was like a real thing after this happens. So he finally says, like, what does he say? My gosh, it's which I didn't completely understand, that he turned away from his destiny before or something, but he's not going to do it again for her.
Yeah.
Which I'm not sure what before was that
kind of confused me as well.
But
he said,
I mean, what you're finding out is that he's going to sacrifice Gamora, and he's got tears, and she thinks the tears are because he's not going to get what he wants, but the tears are actually because he has to sacrifice the only thing that he's loved, which is her. So he tosses her off this cliff. Yep. Gamora dies.
Yep.
And
he gets the Soul Stone.
Then he gets the Soul Stone.
So now he's got 4.
Now he's got 4.
And he's going back to his hometown because he thinks his buddy has the Time Stone for him.
That's correct. But when he comes through that portal, the only person he sees is Doctor Strange.
That's it. That's it.
That's it. It's not the only person we see.
Nope.
We see Quill hidden behind a rock with a gun.
Yeah.
With a little smirk on his face. We see Spidey hiding up top.
Yeah.
And then we get a little conversation, a little deception.
Iron Man brings the...
I don't know what he's slamming down
part
on.
of a spaceship or something.
I think so.
On top of him. And then they go at it.
Yeah, a really cool fight.
Very cool fight. A long fight.
Really tense, like, There's a really tense part too, but
And this was one of my favorite parts. So one of the things that I love about Marvel movies is their collaboration with their fight scenes. And I felt like this fight scene more than any other fight scenes throughout this movie was the most that we saw with like collaborations, because you saw Spider-Man working with Doctor Strange, you saw Doctor Strange working with Star-Lord, Iron Man working. I mean, they were all, well, mostly it was
yeah,
Doctor Strange working with all of them, but
Doctor Strange and Spider-Man was great. He's like,
yes,
magic kick, magic punch,
yes,
magic, and then, good stuff.
yeah, it was great. And so of all the teams, to be honest with you, granted they were only fighting one person, but they were fighting Thanos with 4 stones. They had the most success.
Yeah,
They really did. And they even get to the point where they have him. And probably, maybe one of the most valuable assets that they have here,
Mantis.
Mantis.
Yeah, which is kind of amazing.
It is.
And oh man, yeah. So it's great. So Doctor Strange has some like weird mind ropes. You got Spidey. You got Star-Lord that has some other magnetic sort of grenade he puts on the ground to tie up the one arm.
Yeah.
They all have him sort of like tied up in a certain way, and then you have Mantis that comes through this Doctor Strange portal on top of him and gets his head, and like it doesn't put him under, but he like incapacitates him enough. And they're trying to get the gauntlet off of his hand, because once they do that, then it's done. Like, they've got it. And then we have Star-Lord being an idiot.
Yeah. Star-Lord's, while Thanos is, he can't really move or anything, Star-Lord asks about Gamora.
Mm-hmm. And wants to know where she is. Nebula's there as well. She pops up. She wants to know where she is. But she kind of figures it out before Star-Lord.
Yes. Star-Lord he's not figuring it out. I guess that's a human part of him.
Yeah, and I mean, he's not really saying much, Thanos.
No, he's not.
He's like under, but
I think Mantis is the one really giving the information.
Yeah, she's like, he's in agony and blah, blah, blah. He's like, what does he have to be in agony about? And then Nebula finally, like, just tells him, like, well, they went to find the Soul Stone. They were together. Now they're not. Do the math, dummy. Like, pretty much. And he goes off. And
he goes off.
Iron Man's telling him not to.
Doesn't matter.
He's like, listen, you need to stop. We almost have this thing off. And they really do.
They do. They did get it off.
They had it like off.
It was off. It just wasn't completely past his fist.
It was like this far on his hand.
So unfortunately, Star-Lord starts punching him and knocks Mantis off of Thanos. Yeah. Now Thanos eventually gains his conscience back, and literally you see the glove falling off, and he catches it with his tips and puts the glove on, and it just all hell broke loose. He quickly got rid of Star-Lord, I think Mantis, and
it was easy at that point.
And Drake.
He just got rid of everybody real quick.
Yeah. So now you only got Spider-Man, Iron Man, and Doctor Strange really doing anything. Spider-Man took off because he's trying to capture the 3 people that he knocked out that are floating in outer space or whatever. So now you've really only got Doctor Strange and Iron Man. And eventually, I think something happens to Doctor Strange.
Yeah, he gets knocked out.
He gets knocked out. So now it's only Iron Man. And
which is actually like
it was
pretty
an awesome
interesting.
fight. Yeah, it was, because Iron Man's kind of going toe-to-toe with him for a little bit.
Definitely.
Because he's
getting stuff like knocked off of him. Armor's like this nanotech's like fading away and coming back, and like, not quick enough. Like just a little bit too slow. But yeah, he's going toe-to-toe for sure. And those two characters, because you get to see like how much Iron Man has made an impression.
Yeah.
And then we get to a point where and Thanos catches up with him and stabs him.
With his own arm.
Yeah. So
And at this point, I thought my prediction was correct.
Me too.
I'm like, oh, Iron Man is he's dead.
I was like, all right, so that's
a wrap.
That's the big one.
He's
that's
gonna be
definitely gone.
Yeah.
Instead of that happening, though, we get a little bit of a different outcome.
We do, which was a shock, a little bit of a shock to me.
Yeah, because I really did. I thought that was it.
I thought it was it too,
and I was okay with it. I was like,
me too.
Especially after that fight, I was like, okay.
Yeah.
But Doctor Strange wakes up. And then, just as Thanos is about to finish off Iron Man, Doctor Strange says, spare his life, and I'll give you the stone. And as an audience, we're like, what?
Right.
What are you talking about, man? And it kind of goes back to like what he said earlier, too. Which is like, he doesn't really know Stark. He doesn't know the kid. He doesn't know anybody. He is like the one person who probably knows what giving the stone away means.
Right.
Earlier in the film, and he also, after he does his little prediction deal, I think knows what it means to give it away.
Well, yeah, and there's a lot. We won't go into the great detail that some others have done with this, but he has a line that is some significance, but I don't think you don't need to take it out of content of what he says. But he says, "We're in the end game now."
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just a small hint for you.
Yeah, because the thing is, Tony asks him why you do this. So he gives him the stone. Tony heals himself with some sort of gel, and he looks just like...
defeated.
Yeah. And he turns to Strange and just says, like, why would you do that? And Strange, he's like, it was the only way. So
now he's got 5
those are,
of 6.
Those are 2 lines that I think mean a whole lot.
I agree.
So you have, we're in the end game now, which is, I think, Doctor Strange's way of saying, like, everything has happened the correct way up until now.
I told you there was one version.
For that one scenario.
I told you there was one version. We're in the end game now.
Yeah.
I mean, look, he's the only one that even has any type of idea of what to expect.
Yeah.
Or when they've completely lost it all. And he's like, not that he's like confident. He's just like, all right, we're getting there.
Yeah, but that's the other thing. He knows, he's got to know that it doesn't matter if he's there, but for that version, it matters that Tony is there.
Correct.
So.
Right. Absolutely.
They're in the end game now, and that it was the only way. That's your clue that they're on the right track with the future that he saw.
Yep.
For them to win. There's still variables, though. You know, I'm sure there's plenty of stuff that could happen after that it could not go the right way.
Possibly.
But at least up until this point, they're on the right track. At least we hope.
Something like that.
Which is hard
to imagine because they're getting their butts beat
to the end of the
all
movie,
across
it's hard
the
to
board.
imagine that
I mean, everybody's defeated. Everybody is defeated.
See, I think
except for Hawkeye and Ant-Man.
Yeah. Which aren't in the movie, by the way. So anyway, but I think we can skip ahead from there.
There's only one thing left.
Yeah.
Back to Wakanda.
Thanos. So after that, after Thanos gets the time stone, he shows up on Earth.
Yeah.
And that's where we're at. This is the final part of the movie. Thanos shows up on Earth. This is right after all that fighting was happening.
Mm-hmm.
This is right after Vision won his fight with the help of Iron Man.
Mm-hmm.
Or not Iron Man, sorry, Cap. And he shows up. Vision realizes that he's coming. Tells Scarlet Witch, like, we have to do this now. You have to kill me.
Yep.
You have to destroy the stone.
Yep.
So we can get out of here. Like, it's the only way to prevent what's going to happen. And she's like, no. And he's like, yeah, I'm sorry it has to be you, but it's got to happen. So she starts trying to get the stone out of his head to destroy it. As that's happening, Thanos is walking straight towards them. Hulkbuster comes in. He like turns it into some weird like ghosty thing. It rolls into a mountain and like, which was crazy. And then you you sort of get the point. Like with all these stones, he can do whatever he wants.
So
like,
to add to that, I think it's pretty awesome how they gradually show him becoming more powerful.
Yeah.
You know, with using all the stones that he has, you see him gradually get powerful until the point where this fight, what you're pretty much getting at is he's indestructible. Like you just, no matter what you do, the Avengers, or these Avengers, and you've got Captain America, you got the Hulk and the Hulkbuster, you've got Scarlet Witch, you've got Black Widow, you've got Falcon, you've got War Machine, Bucky.
Yeah.
None of them can. It takes everything just to get a touch on him. And I think the only person who really does is Captain America.
Which actually, and that's what I love about Marvels. They do little things to like show you how powerful characters are.
Yes.
Just like when Black Panther was running and Cap caught up, like it's so small, but it's like, well, okay, I remember he's like awesome.
Right.
And the same thing happens here. First, I think the first time Cap goes at him, he like gets tossed.
He does.
And then
like
he just keeps walking, but Cap comes back and he's actually got like the gauntlet.
He has his
like a thumb and a finger,
right.
And he's
not allowing him to close his glove.
Yeah, and you can see Thanos like, oh shit, like who are you?
Yeah. Until he realizes I have my right hand free.
Which is also great though because like you can see it in his face.
Yes.
You can see so much in Thanos' face.
You can. Yeah.
It's actually kind of amazing. Even when he's crying earlier in the movie with Gamora, like that stuff's great. The stuff they did with him.
Yeah.
And how real he looks too. Was pretty amazing. But yeah, that's what we see with Cap is you see him like you see with Iron Man, then you see with Cap, they have a little bit of resistance towards him. So if they're all together, maybe they can do it.
Yeah.
But you're right. Yeah, then he gets jacked.
Which is crazy because now I was just thinking back at the very beginning of the movie when you see him fighting Hulk and Hulk does nothing to him. Well, you've got Captain America pretty much one-on-one with him with 5 stones, and he is, well, with the one hand, struggling against Captain America.
Says a lot. That's a lot about the will.
And Captain America,
So then he almost gets to Vision, but it turns out Scarlet Witch gets the stone out, busts it.
She saves the day.
It explodes.
She's
successful
the day.
in that. So
yeah, we get a sigh of relief.
Okay.
We're like, whew.
Good.
And then exactly what I expected to happen happened.
So that was an awesome plan. Such a good plan.
It was a great plan. It was the best plan that they've had thus far, with the exception of Doctor Strange.
They just did it to the wrong stone. If they would have done that to Doctor Strange's stone, it'd be done right now. But he has the time stone. Turns it back.
Turns back time.
He walks up and literally plucks it out of Vision's head, smacks it on the gauntlet.
Vision's dead.
It gets torn straight out.
Yeah.
And that's where we're at. I mean,
but hold on. Just before, so he has now all the stones.
Yeah.
And Thor comes and smacks him with his axe, gets him, cuts him. This is the most damage that anybody's done to him yet.
Yeah.
Period. Thor gets his axe in his chest, and Thanos is down, and Thor has him face to face. He's pretty much like, "Look, I told you I was gonna come at you."
He pushes it further in, and then Thanos goes, "You should have gone for the head." And as soon as he says that, he picks the gauntlet up and he snaps his fingers, and then what we've been trying to avoid the entire movie happens. And he wipes out.
So the significance of the snapping of the fingers is death to 50% of, I guess, Earth? Is it just mankind on Earth, or is
somebody
it just...
said the universe.
The universe.
One of the characters said the universe.
So just start swapping out 50% of the universe, I guess, and we start to see this in action. And we first see this with Bucky.
Yeah. And this is the other thing I think is
vanishes.
is crazy, they take some of the main characters and they take like the person that means most to them and they're gone. Like Cap and Bucky, Rocket and Groot.
Yeah, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, so, and that's the first one that we get is Bucky's walking over and he just says Steve, and we turn the camera and you just see him fading away.
Gone.
It's like they're turning to ash and floating away.
Yeah.
Oh, man, they...
I mean, go ahead, go through the list.
I hope I remember them all. So we got Bucky gone. We'll go with Guardians. There's Mantis, Drax, Groot. Because the only one that's left out of the Guardians, I think, is Rocket and Nebula.
Yes.
Then we have Black Panther,
which was a shocker. And his whole tribe almost like everybody.
Yeah, tons. And then there's tons happening around. And then the one I think that like hit everybody the hardest, was Spider-Man.
Spider-Man, Doctor
It's
Strange.
happening around him.
Yes.
Yeah, Doctor Strange, but Spider-Man's is a little more delayed.
And I think they do that on purpose.
Oh man, yeah, because that's the
he
one
was the last one.
That was the one that like got me bad. And he's telling Tony like I don't want to go, and like falls on him, and that's gotta like kill him.
So it's probably easier for us to say who actually lives.
Yeah.
Iron Man. Iron Man's by himself in outer space right now.
Yeah. Completely
by himself. So that's gonna be interesting.
I mean, I would think maybe his suit can...
It's torn to pieces.
But it's nanotech. I think it
True.
can do something.
Which was one thing, so I wasn't going to bring this up earlier, but what was interesting is, I don't know if you caught this, like, even though his suit was, like, tearing apart, it seemed like it was like, transferring to different areas to do certain things.
Like, rebuild.
So that was kind of awesome. But, yeah, so he's by himself. And then I think everybody else that we have is at Wakanda, right?
They're together.
Everybody else is in Wakanda.
Yeah, so
you got Thor, you got Captain America.
It's pretty much the core Avengers.
It is Hulk, so that's the four.
I mean,
Iron Man
it literally is like all the main Avengers.
Rocket,
Nebula.
I think Scarlet Witch.
Rhodey.
Or not Scarlet Witch. No, Scarlet Witch dies. I meant to say Black Widow.
Yeah, I think War Machine.
Yep. War Machine.
Falcon's gone. War Machine's there. M'Baku.
Yes.
Okoye.
Yes.
I think Shuri's still there too.
We don't see her.
I don't think we see.
We don't see her.
That's
it.
Yeah.
That's it.
But you know what?
Stay after the credits.
Definitely stay after the credits for this one. Because you know what? There's a new character coming. But there's two more characters that we lose. After the credits.
Yeah.
And I think it's actually really cool to see that too, because you see it's a global thing on Earth.
Yes.
Because you see it's affecting areas that aren't